Fire fairies come, fire fairies come, and the fire fairies come. Every July, Old Gnome went to the seaside. It was the hottest month of the year, and he loved the cool breeze by the ocean. He always went camping at his favorite spot where the rocky cliff meandered down to the water. It was a good place for exploring all the life in the sea. One night, he was sitting by his campfire looking at the stars in the summer sky and listening to the waves roll in. Whoosh, whoosh, they called. Whoosh, whoosh. All of a sudden, Old Gnome saw a shooting star fly across the sky. It looked like it fell right into the sea, quite near the rocky cliff. Well, look at that, said Old Gnome to himself. Why, that reminds me of a story my grandfather used to tell me. Now how did that story go? Oh, yes. Old Gnome settled back and remembered the story. Once upon a time, there was a tiny little star in the sky. Every night he shone down from the night sky, twinkling as brightly as he could. Because that is what stars do best. All the stars around him were bigger and brighter than he was. He was a little star and wished to be bigger, so he could be noticed too. But he stayed little and started to wish for other things instead. At night, the stars can see a little bit of the earth below, especially when the moon was full. Little Star thought, I wonder what the earth looks like in the daylight. So one night, as the day was getting ready and the sun began to rise, Little Star did not go to sleep as the stars usually do. He stayed wide awake to look down at Earth in the light of day. When he looked down, he could not believe his starry eyes. It was beautiful. There was blue, blue water, green, green grass with meadow flowers. There were tall trees, round trees, trees with apples, pears and plums. Never had he imagined such wonder. Oh, I wish I could live there instead of the sky, whispered Little Star. And he wished with all his might, until a tear fell from his eye. Now, whenever a star cries a tear, the moon listens well. She heard the little star wish and had an idea. That night, Moon spoke to Little Star. Do you truly want to live on Earth? Oh, yes, shouted Little Star. It is the most wonderful place I could have ever imagined. Moon nodded with a kind glow in her eyes. She reached out and touched Little Star's topmost point. All of a sudden, Little Star was flying across the sky. Down, down he went, so fast he felt a trail of his starlight behind him. Then splash! He fell into the cool water and landed on the ocean floor. He looked at himself and saw that he had become a starfish. Oh, look! I have become a star on Earth. Little Star lived happily forever as a starfish in the sea. Old Gnome smiled. He loved that story, and now it was time to go to sleep. First thing the next morning, Old Gnome climbed down the rocky cliff to the cove. He was thinking about the shooting star that fell across the sky the night before. He started looking around along the water's edge, and there in the water, tucked close to a rock, was the most lovely orange starfish, beautiful and perfect. "Well, I wonder," murmured Old Gnome with a twinkle in his eye. "Fire fairies burning bright, thank you for your golden light. Good night." Snip, snap, snout, my tale is all told out.